And to discuss further this file, joining me live from Paris is Dr. Abdennour Toumi, a political analyst. Thank you, sir, for agreeing to be with us.
Good evening, and thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you so much. So my first question goes like this. I mean, we begin with the concluding statement of this tripartite summit, which addressed all issues of common interest to the countries that is taking this summit. What's your reading after we have listened to the concluding statement here?
Actually, it is very important. I mean, this tripartite summit, which is another, let's say, step ahead for what has left from, unfortunately, the now is irrelevant, the Arab Maghreb Union that has been on the natural mode for more than 3 decades for many reasons, and notably some members have been politicking in on this integral process that would have been an interesting asset for not only the states but only for the people in the region. Now, as far as this new, let's say, as I stated, a step ahead coming or emanating from the Arab Maghreb Union, that actually very interesting. It was, the idea came out in the meeting that took place during the 7th GECF summit last February. And actually, President Abdelmajid Tebboune, took the risk and also the lead to push forward and look for an integral process in the region that is facing, serious challenges. Actually, the key words here, to sum up the statement, is security, stability, and prosperity. So these 3 elements will be the core of this new, actually start with tripartite countries, notably Algeria, Tunisia, and Libya, for an economic integration process. Therefore, actually, we all know that we cannot dissociate the economics from politics. So, and this, if we are looking for a model that started actually decades ago with an interesting European 3 countries, the Benelux, that turned out to become the European Union. So now there is a hope that these 3 countries will be joined by other countries in the region because of the all ongoing challenges that those countries are facing, and notably Algeria, Libya, Tunisia, and I will add Egypt as well.
So you mentioned the possibility of more countries joining this entity, let's call it. But to what extent does the absence of certain countries, although Algeria was pretty clear when it stated at the beginning that this entity or this body is open for everyone to join actually, and it's not against any country whatsoever. But today we notice the absence of Mauritania. How do you read this absence and and to what extent can this actually affect such a body?
I don't think it will affect or will have any impact on this actually good initiative. And actually, it's a good takeoff. I will argue that maybe Mauritania, for its, let's say, prudent diplomacy or relations between the 2 countries, Algeria and Morocco. Unfortunately, the latter is actually the one who has been politicking on this issue of the global sub-regional integration process, the Maghreb Union. And we all remember what happened actually in early days of the kickoff of the UMA in 1988 in Ziralda summit, and later in 1989 in Marrakesh summit. And after that, actually, it was again, was kind of blocked because of the, again, bringing the issue of the Western Sahara. Therefore, Mauritania is, it's still hesitating, how to position itself, but knowing that Mauritania has a clear, vision and say on the question of the Western Sahara, and this goes back to 1979. So again, Mauritania is facing some, Mauritanian president is facing some political challenges in the runoff for the elections next June. So therefore, and I think he will join these process. And also it's very interesting because on the bilateral level, we saw that how Algeria and Mauritania did strengthen and enhance their economic cooperation, and following the road of between Tindouf and Zouirat, and that is an interesting key for this integration process going to Western Africa. And this is why we saw these three countries that's really interesting. They have, they go north and south. They have the relations on the north with all European, the southern European countries, and also have an approach and a vision in the south of entering to in deep of the African continent.
Mm-hmm. And how does this regional dynamic, Dr. Abdennour Toumi, sorry to cut your train of thought. Actually, the point was clear. I just wanted to ask you about what was agreed upon on Gaza. How does this regional dynamics and this activity between these three countries actually affect what is happening on Gaza?
And it's a very interesting question because, the three countries, Algeria, Tunisia, and Libya, have a clear position on the ongoing carnage that is taking place and the aggression of the Zionists on the Palestinians. And this is not in light of the Al-Aqsa flood operation and on this, on the ongoing aggression and carnage and ethnic cleansing that have, all this have been taking place during the last 6 months. So we saw how Algeria is taking a clear position on the Palestinian issue, and this is not new. It goes back to 6 or 7 decades ago, if not before. And currently, the role that Algeria is playing in the UN Security Council and how is challenging seriously, actually to some extent embarrassing the Americans and the pro-Zionists on this issue. So that Tunisia, we know that that President Kais Saied, who made it clear, just on the night of his inaugural speech in 2019, who said or who made any normalization with the Zionist state, it's a red line, so that the Libyan council and government, and we saw how that, actually faux pas that was made by the former Libyan Foreign Affairs last summer when she met with the Zionist state Foreign Affairs ministers. So all of them are coherent and clear on the issue when it comes to Palestine. Nonetheless, we know also that how Tunisia and Libya, who have been under huge pressure from other regional Arab countries, who was pushing them or trying to drag them to the normalization with the Zionist state, but Algeria is strong on this and is playing a serious and solid let's put this metaphor in sport and football, the axial defense, so it's defending Tunisia and Libya alike.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abdennour. Toumi, you were live with us from Paris. I would like to remind the audiences that Dr. Abdennour Toumi is a political analyst from Paris. Thank you so much.